Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the stream. It's Wednesday. Yes. So you know what that means. It's time for Jump Around, our weekly cardio class. It's not going to get better. It's not. My sense of time is only getting worse. And yeah, so as long as I know what class I'm supposed to be teaching today, I figure we've got to be okay, right? Like that's my bare minimum. Knowing what class I'm teaching. Wow. It's also week 3 of Rocktober. Woo! So we're getting real intense up here in Cardio Land. It is going to be a banger. So get yourselves ready. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. I hope everybody's having a good Wednesday. Yeah, the clouds are tinged with ash, which is just par for the course now that the nearby fire is up to almost 10,000 acres, which is exciting. Yeah, we're doing great. Air quality is great. Friends, this is so stressful. It is supposed to snow in the next 4 days or something like that. It's supposed to get really cold and start snowing. So I'm holding on for that because that would definitely help us all out a lot if we could get some consistent precipitation on at least one day. So keep your fingers crossed for everybody here in Boulder County and up in Fort Collins, which is Larimer County. And in California, I'm sure they still have fires going on that are just not at the top of the headlines anymore. But man, it's been brutal. It's been a brutal few months, just not really being able to take advantage of the outdoors the way that we want to. I've basically given up on Rocktober at this point. When the like cleanest the air is the moderate levels. It's like, do I really want to put my lungs through all of that? Which is a bummer. I'm just gonna have to make up for it when winter comes around and these fires are hopefully out. I'll just have to make up for it heading into the winter time. I just got a weird notification. Anyway, but we're hanging in. I do at least see some blue sky. There's I know where the sun is, which is exciting. And hopefully by Friday's stream, we will have some actual good post-sunset lighting because I ordered some softboxes and they are scheduled to arrive tomorrow, which is awesome. And, assuming that I figure out how to set them up, which will probably be what most of my afternoon ends up being, yeah, I will have a thing. I will have some lights to actually get everything set up, which is really exciting. So, yay, we will finally not have the awkward graininess of being lit by this one sad lamp, which will be nice. But yes. So that's, basically the most exciting thing. It's so interesting right now. People still have all of these verbal tics. The ways that we make polite small talk are still based around what's been going on? What have you been doing recently? And, right now it's I never have an answer for it because it's what have I been doing? Not much. I can't see my friends. I can't go on trips. I can't, go see shows or movies or concerts or anything like that, so just spending a lot of time at home. And yet we still default to those little check-ins. But yes, for anyone interested in what I've been doing this week, that's the big thing. Ordered some lights. We'll hopefully learn how to use them. Yeah. All right, my friends, it is time to move towards class, I think. So if you're brand new, hi, welcome. This is an interesting time to join class because we are in the middle of October, where we've been doing sort of a series of programs that have been ramping up over the last few weeks. This is our third week, and then next week is week 4, which will be our final week of October. We end perfectly on October 31st, Halloween, which is just excellent. I'm very pleased with how that timing worked out. And, oh, No Time to Die got pushed back again. Yeah, well, I'm not surprised. They're gonna keep crossing their fingers on some of those bigger blockbusters that they can actually get people back in theaters for a long time. They're gonna be pushing those probably until well past when they should have just done some sort of online release. Yeah, I saw about Black Widow. But yeah, so it's going to be an intense day because this is week 3. But if you're brand new to class, if this is your first time or even within your first few times, I only ask that you do the bare minimum, and our bare minimum consists of 3 things: starting on time, stopping on time, and doing the exercise correctly. So if you stick with that, you will get an amazing workout, okay? Don't come to your first class and be like, all right, I'm gonna really push and show them what I can do. First of all, I'm not there. I can't actually see what you're doing. Second of all, that is a great way to get to the end of class and go, oh my God, that was miserable. I never want to do that again. And that's not our goal. What we want is for you to come back each week and take class. So bare minimum, if this is your first time. If you've been, of course, taking Rocktober with me over the last few weeks, I expect some challenging of ourselves. So let's go ahead and do our pre-class checklist. Hi, we got our water vessels. Let me tell you, I highly, honestly recommend Giant Mason Jar of Doom. That's been a great water bottle for me. We've got our comfy clothes on, whatever that means to you. Sorry, that was my speaker turning on. We've got our mat or a mat-sized space on the floor, hopefully with appropriate padding so that you don't either injure your joints or piss off the people downstairs. And if you use a fitness wearable, let's turn them on right now. Nope, that's the weather. Using high-intensity interval training because, yeah, that's what we're doing today. Welcome to cardio. But we're not jumping right into that. First, we are starting with our warm-up. Huzzah, huzzah. All right, so that's on. This is here in my hand. So everybody on your mats, on your backs, 1 foot crossed over the opposite knee. And as soon as you hear the horn, we will begin with hip rocks and bridges. All right? Here we go. It is going to be intense today, my friends, as I'm sure you expected. One thing that will be a little interesting about today, and it shouldn't really impact you too heavily, but because we're ramping up the amount of time for the work intervals, we will not be doing all of the sets of exercises that we have in the previous 2 weeks, just because if I did that, class would end up being an hour and a half, and that is a little long for our high-intensity interval training. So if you notice a few things getting dropped out of the picture, that is planned, okay? Don't worry about it. It's just to make sure that we're not trying to overload ourselves with stuff to do, in addition to lengthening the amount of work interval that we have. Whew. I think I just did 2 hip bridges in a row because I totally lost track of where I was in the exercise. But that's okay, because we are just warming up, getting our brains going, getting our bodies going, getting ourselves centered and present right here. And we do not have to worry too much about messing up, because it's easy to just get back into what we were doing. Oh man, I've had this tickle in my throat for 2 days because, of course, the haze has been so crazy here, and it just has such a huge impact. It is driving me absolutely nuts. I really wish that we could have just a little bit of respite from all this smoke, but nope, that I do not expect to happen for a while. You know, I've been thinking about, like, because the Cameron Peak fire up at Fort Collins is still going, obviously, and it's now officially the largest wildfire in Colorado history. And back in August, I think it was, they had estimated that they would have full containment of that fire by the end of October, by October 31st. And at the time, I was like, well, that's ridiculous. It can't possibly take that long to get the fire fully contained. But clearly, I knew nothing about wildfire spread at that point and how it impacts us. So, you know, that fire is still burning merrily along. I haven't checked the percentage of containment for that one in a while. Last time I checked, which was within the last couple of weeks, it was like 62%. So still with a ways to go before we get to the end. And I'm just like, oh my God, we've now got 3 active wildfires just in a 1 hour's drive from where I live. And it's exhausting. It is really, really rough. Definitely still planning to budget in an air purifier because clearly that is going to become a very, very necessary piece of equipment, piece of home equipment, you know, particularly as we march proudly into greater and greater impacts of climate change, you know, and keep having fires like this. You know, we're gonna have to make sure that we're taking those steps to take care of our, at the very least, our internal spaces. And, you know, after this fire season, I'm just like, oh my God, I need something to help out that process. I'm also gonna just buy a bunch more plants for the apartment to, you know, just for some green and for some oxygenation, and you know, they, I'm sure, can help a little bit with cleaning up the air. But it's brutal. It's really brutal, and I'm lucky that I don't have any pre-existing respiratory issues, you know. So the people I know who are struggling with, you know, who have asthma or COPD or anything like that, like, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine living in this area with any respiratory conditions. Not to mention, of course, the plague that has severe respiratory symptoms as well, because that's obviously what you need during a super intense fire season, is a disease that hits your lungs really hard. So in conclusion, staying indoors and working out here is looking better and better, because hopefully we can control the air quality a little bit better, and we're keeping ourselves and our communities safe in times of plague, and all of these are very, very good things. So thanks for joining me on this journey of working out here in our living rooms. All right, we are blasting right along. We're on side 2 of our leg sequence. Remember, the aspirational position is knee pointing straight up at the ceiling. You may have to engage the muscles in your hip socket a bit. You'll notice that my hip is not as naturally flexible on this side, so my knee does tend to drift forward, and I have to engage my muscles a little bit to try and pull it backwards. And this is a good time for me to practice that when I'm not putting any pressure on the leg, any standing pressure, you know, so that once I get to doing anything that requires a squat, I have that habit and that form already implanted in my brain. All right, we're on our final side, final exercise, last set of lower leg lifting with the top foot behind the bottom knee. Super chill. Oh my God, it's almost Halloween. I still need to get that, see if I can wrangle together a good Jane Fonda cosplay. I would probably need, what was her hair like back when she was teaching aerobics classes? I don't actually know. All right, that's the other thing I'm gonna have to do. I'm gonna have to do some research into vintage aerobics Jane Fonda and see what I can pull together in the next week. Oh man. And you know, if nothing comes together, it's fine. It's fine. But remembering that not this coming Saturday's class, but the Saturday after that is actually on Halloween. So I'm going to be attempting to dress up a little bit, to have a little bit of a costume class. You know, and that's why I want to get Jane Fonda together, just because that would be obviously a costume that is much more conducive to exercising than many other things that I could go for. But if you want to join me, get a costume together, have a fun costumed Saturday morning workout, I think it would be fun. So there'll be pictures up on Instagram of whatever I end up pulling together. And if you want to do the same, we can have ourselves an impromptu Halloween party of exercise. Because that's what everybody loves to do on Halloween, right? Is exercise. That's what we're going for, generally. I guess if you're going to a dance party on Halloween, I do miss that. My two of my friends throw this incredible Halloween bash every year, and one of them is a DJ, and so he sets up in the basement, and frequently things will turn into a dance party down there, which is always super fun because I love dancing and I hate club situations or anywhere where I don't know 90% of the people that I am with, and anywhere where I don't have any standing to ask people to turn the music down slightly. So, you know, friend DJ'd parties are definitely ideal for me. And this year, obviously, we were all really excited for the party because Halloween is a Saturday this year, which it isn't always, so the party could actually be on Halloween. But best laid plans fell right on out 7 months ago. So, oh well, we will all just have to take pictures of our costumes and send them to each other and buy giant Costco bags of candy, just, I don't know, hide it around the house, or like take turns. One person hides in, if you live with somebody, one person hides in the bedroom, the other person knocks on the door and asks for candy. Ah, this is sad, but important, and that's a good thing to focus on. I do kind of wish that we could set up some sort of a like Discord or Zoom based Halloween party, because I feel like that could be really fun. The birthday party I went to recently was obviously very costumed. I showed you all the ancient Greek laurel wreath thing that I wore. And that just made it really fun. You know, we're sort of used to everybody just sort of having their regular clothes and their heads and shoulders showing, and, you know, having something that gave us all an excuse to dress up a little bit more was super fun. So maybe that's the thing to try and pull together. If any of you are attending any fun Discord or Zoom-based Halloween parties, talk about it. Talk about it in the chat. What are y'all gonna do? What are you dressing up as? If anything. Halloween never used to be a huge jam of mine, but I've definitely gotten into it a lot more over the last few years. Probably helps that I moved to a place where my friend group was far more into costumes and cosplay and stuff like that than anywhere I had lived previously. You know, used to be the Halloween costume for me was just get whatever cheapo thing I could get at the party store, but now I actually have discovered the joys of deliberately designed costumes that are a little bit better quality than whatever, you know, sexy pirate outfit you can buy from Party City or from Spirit Halloween. Yeah, it's fun. It's really fun. Actually, last year I did my first cosplay at a con. I went to Denver Pop Culture Con with a group of friends, and we did some Critical Role cosplay for anyone who's familiar with that particular show. And it was so much fun just walking the halls and having people recognize what my outfit was and, you know, want pictures of us and all of this stuff. I think a picture of us ended up in one of the local like online magazine type things, which was super cool. And it just added this whole new element to the experience of attending a con, where, you know, you felt like you were a little bit closer to the community because people were getting to engage with the outfit that you were wearing, and, you know, they were getting to have that fun moment of, oh my God, that's the character that you're dressed as, and you are getting to have that fun moment of, oh awesome, people can actually tell who I'm supposed to be. And it's just a lot of fun. A lot of fun. All right, friends, last bit of our warm-up. Here we are, doing our burpees. Remember, wave push-up, not a plank. And we're doing that awesome victory clap up at the top as we jump like that. We're not fully ramped in energy. We're saving that for when we really kick off. But we're at the top for the warm-up. You know, we've been slowly ramping up over the last 16 minutes and, you know, culminating with nice, energetic, awesome burpees, which are now done. Woo! I'm gonna get that timer going. All right. Hey, everybody back to your water bottles, please. Woo! Somehow I managed to fog up my glasses just then, breathing while drinking water. I'm not quite sure how I did it, but hey. All right. Oh, we are going to be doing some intense stuff today. All right. So last week, we were going back and forth between 20-second work intervals and 30-second work intervals. This week, we're going back and forth between 30 seconds of work and 10 seconds of rest, and 45 seconds of work and 15 seconds of rest, okay? So for the 45-second intervals, we'll have a whole extra 5 seconds of rest, but we will also have an extra 15 seconds of work. So it sort of balances out. But yeah, so that's going to be the big thing. And again, I'm not going to dig too deeply into demonstrating before we start, because we're doing the same setups that we've been doing for the last several weeks. So our first one is going to be 30 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest. We're going to have flying chickens like this, and we're going to have our single leg mountain climbers down here like this, okay? So those are our exercises. So everybody head back over to your mat and get ready. But remember that this first sound does not mean go. That's our stop sound. Awesome, hallelujah. And then knock, knock, knock tells us to get in position. Thumbs at chest height. And that horn tells us to start jumping. All right, so if you are new to class, flying chickens are pretty easy. We're just letting our feet come out apart from each other in the air, but then land in the exact same place they started. And our elbows are just kind of flapping like this, up when you jump, down when you land. So it's pretty chill. And now down to our mountain climbers. Remember, since we're just alternating between 2 exercises, we will not be doing 9 rotations through, only 8, okay? So that's always nice. I'm leaving green hairs all over my house these days, which is really funny. It's not as if my hairs were not already easy to identify before, because bleach blonde is not that much less visible. In fact, in many ways it's more visible, but it's just not the color I'm used to in terms of leaving hairs around. And so I definitely frequently will have these moments where I'm like, what the hell? Whose hair is this? Oh, that's right, it's mine, because my hair is green. This color is doing exceedingly well, which makes me very, very happy. Part of it being that I took my stylist incredibly seriously when she said the best way to maintain the color is to not get water on it. So I only use dry shampoo at this point. I haven't, gotten my hair wet in the shower. Basically, I took one shower 3 days after I got this done and haven't done it again. And the nice thing is, it definitely still had a little bit of bleed that was happening for a week or two, particularly obviously when I'm exercising, because I can't really avoid sweating. So, it was always going to get a little wet there. And I definitely had a couple of classes where I had nice streaks of green going down my face afterwards. But that's mostly stopped, which is really cool. And the color itself is still hanging on really well. So I am very pleased because I like this color a lot. And I want it to hang around for as long as I can make it hang around. All right. Last time for our mountain climbers, make sure your shoulders are engaged. They're staying stable over your wrists, keeping your butt out of the air, not letting it come up like this. Push your butt down towards the floor if you feel that. Make sure you're still pushing forward. So even though we're moving around, we still want those shoulders staying right there. All right. That wasn't the last one. It was the last one for me because I'm taking a break right now. All right. Back to those flying chickens. Sorry to confuse you. I confused myself there for a sec. Last run for flying chickens. So if you have been desirous of doing a fun color on your hair, but worried about how exercise would impact it, you'll definitely get some runnage. I recommend having black or dark colored towels so that you don't end up like me with just teal stains all over your formerly white towels. Thankfully, those towels are so old at this point and so janky that it really doesn't matter that much. But make sure that you're trying to dry shampoo rather than get the hair wet in the shower. But otherwise, don't worry about exercising with the hair color. It will hang in, I promise. All right, my friends, so close. 2, 1, and good. Everybody, back to your water bottles, and let's take a quick break. All right. All right. So our next one is going to be our 45 seconds of work, 15 seconds of rest. And it's going to be turtle burpees, okay? So we know how to do turtle burpees. We do the roll up under the shoulders, up under the feet, jump back to that plank, wave push up, jump the feet forward, and jump up in the air. We don't have to do the victory clap for our turtle ones, so don't worry about that. If you want to, that's fine. There's never a reason to not cheer yourself on, but it is not a required component of this particular version of burpees. So, oh man. Yeah, these clouds are really disconcerting because they look like lovely clouds until you see this sort of yellowish stain. It's like the clouds started smoking and got stained yellow. Thank you. I said literally every class I talk about how I'm going to go take a shower. I think you can be confident that I have showered in the last 3 weeks. So yes, please continue to shower even if you get your hair dyed. That's what I say to you. Jeez. Yeah. All right. Turtle burpee time. 45 seconds of work, 15 seconds of rest, 8 times through. Let me fix that on here. Remember, the first sound does not mean go. It means stop, hang out, chill. Then knock, knock, knock is get ready, which obviously takes us a little longer to get there, which I always forget about. Okay, there was the knocking. See that 15-second rest interval messes me up a little bit because I'm so used to the timing of the 10-second rest interval, and so I'm over here going, where's the knocking sound? That's a long time for it to go without happening. And then I remember that, of course, it's going to take longer because we have a longer amount of rest time before we keep going. All right. Everybody trying to really work the momentum as you roll on your shoulders and then up onto your feet. Momentum is super your friend in any of the turtle exercises. I've been talking about this a lot because we've been doing them a lot, and because this is the month where we're really challenging ourselves. So, you know, you do always have the option to use a hand to help push yourself up on to your feet. But that, I recommend really working towards being able to just roll straight up on them, because that sort of interruption in the momentum is going to stop your energy dead. So it's going to make it harder to flow through the entirety of the movement. And it's going to make you a little more awkward getting up onto your feet. So you're going to potentially be just putting yourself in some weird positions form-wise, possibly some unhealthy positions. So the more that you can just roll straight up onto your feet, jump them back. You see how we have all of this momentum, and it helps me keep doing the exercise. The momentum is honestly just as important a component as the strength of my arms and legs, because it's helping us to flow through this whole thing. There are so many different positions in this exercise. We are jumping all over the place, and the more that you can really use momentum to give you that boost, the better you will be, the faster you'll be able to go, and the easier it will feel, honestly. Oh, all right. Yeah, I'm going to be adjusting these puzzle pieces basically every time right now, because this is an exercise that takes a lot of movement, a whole lot. Oh, but it's okay, because we're crushing it. We're having fun. We're enjoying ourselves. We're challenging ourselves to really dig in. We know what we're doing. Week 3, at this point, we know what we're doing, which is awesome. And that's the goal. That's the goal of October. That's the goal of this style of programmatic sequencing, is we have taken a huge processing component off the table. We have taken away the need to really dig in and use a bunch of our processing energy to figure out where we are, what exercise we're doing, what we're supposed to do next, because nothing has changed in the last 2, now 3 weeks in terms of the exercises. So you can take all of that extra brain energy and put it into pushing yourself for more speed, for more power, for more reps, okay? So just remember that that is what we're doing and what we're trying to focus on. Oh man. Yeah, it's intense. This is intense, my friends. It feels like it shouldn't be that big of an uptick, but it really is. It really is a bigger uptick. So just lean into it. Remember to keep breathing. Always keep breathing. That's an important component. And remember that you're challenging yourself deliberately. You're coming into these sessions and going, all right, I am making a commitment to challenge myself for this month. And everybody's metrics for what challenging yourself means are going to be different, and that's okay. But for those of you who've been taking class with me for a long time, you know, we've been doing this since March essentially, and we've been doing this intensive schedule since beginning of June. So for those of you who've really been with me for several months now, and maybe you've been struggling with a little bit of feeling that plateau, feeling like you've been having difficulty pushing yourself forward, this is the month to really dig in and go, all right, I am going to really challenge myself. I'm gonna push my brain to get itself out of its chill, relaxed place and say, all right, brain, we are going to really push for more speed, for more intensity, for more power, you know, and it's important to have those times where we can really dig in and focus that energy. So, well done to all of you being here with me, taking class, pushing yourself, challenging yourself over the course of these soon to be 4 weeks. And yeah, just really be proud of yourself. And next week, you know, we're gonna be at the top, at the apex. That will be our hardest week. And we'll really get to dig in and go, look at how much improvement I have seen, you know? And it'll be awesome. I know not everybody attends every class. I do, but I kind of have to because I'm the teacher. Oh, some great sun lines. I'm not going to futz with the blinds right now, my friends. It's the sun's not going to be up above the building across the street that much longer. Hopefully, starting Friday, we won't have to even deal with the sunset lines anymore because I will have actual lighting. And won't that be nice? Won't that be exciting? I think it'll be exciting. All right. Plenty of water, my friends. All right. Oh, I see some of the CU cross-country team going by outside. Still practicing hardcore. Okay, so we're going back to 30 tens, which is awesome. 30 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest. We're doing our 2 exercises. We're doing our flaming scarlets, which for some reason I wrote flying scarlets on my class plan and only just noticed that, but flaming scarlets. So V shape, knees coming up above the hip crease, and then we'll have our side to side planks. So remembering dropping the heels over there and then through that front plank and to the other side. All right? All right. So everybody back on your mats and getting prepped, taking that last sip of water, hearing that stop sound, not starting your movement there. And then, hey, there's our knocking sound right when we expected it. V shape with our arms, and we are jumping. So the aspirational position is those knees coming up above the hip crease. So if I was to hold my hands there, they would just smack into my hands each time. If you're not there yet, that's okay. What I don't want you to do is just be sort of trotting. I want you to be pulling those knees up as high as you can, whatever that means to you, okay? So, you know, if you are new to the exercise, then you might not be able to get them up as high as easily. That's okay, but know what you're working towards, and don't use it as an excuse to just sort of trot gently in place, all right? And now we're doing our side-to-side planks, which we are not trying to rush. These are a strength and stability exercise, not a speed exercise. All right, coming back around. Second time for those fun flaming scarlets. I kind of wish that the sun was getting a little farther in here, because then we could have a lot of fun with some sunset effects on the flaming scarlets. I feel like it would be very thematically appropriate, right? But sadly, we are not going to get that. And honestly, I'm not that sad, because I'd rather not be blinded by the sunset. Because let me tell you, here in Colorado, the sun is very bright because we have less atmosphere up here to protect us from its gleaming rays. So it is not something that I would want to tango with even normally, but it is definitely not something I want to mess with here in Colorado. It's noticeable too. When I have gone back down to sea level and, you know, it's been super sunny. I had a few trips to Seattle last year that were remarkably sunny, given everything that I've been given to understand about Seattle. But I could feel the difference. It didn't feel as intense. It didn't feel like the cancer-causing properties of sunlight were quite as effective down at sea level as they definitely feel up here at a mile above sea level. So, all that to say, I will be very happy when I have consistent lighting that is not dependent upon the Demon Day Star. All right, second time through. Remember, we're doing planks. Hold here for a second, let the judges see it, then back through the center. We are keeping that shoulder nice and stable and strong. We don't want it wobbling around anywhere, which is one of the reasons that we're doing this slowly and deliberately. Make sure the shoulder is directly over the wrist and that you're not losing your balance and trying to compensate by wrenching the shoulder, okay? Those side-to-side planks should be a shoulder strengthening exercise, all right? So we want to use them as such. All right, final time for those flaming scarlets, really kicking ass and taking names. How's everybody feeling? We are just rocketing through class. Oh man, keeping those knees up, check in on that form. It should be just as good in your final set as it was in your first set, okay? So always start your next set by checking in on that form. And then once you've done that, you can really settle in and focus on where you want to make your improvements, all right? All right, last time for side-to-side planks. Awesome, awesome, awesome. We're pretty close to the end. Fewer than 10 seconds left. So nice, stable, strong, slow, and done. Good job, everybody. All right. Whew. Back to our water bottle. See, I told you, sun's already gone down enough that I'm not getting hit with quite as much. All right. Ooh-wee. Our next one is going to be intense because we're going back to 45 seconds of work, 15 seconds of rest. And the exercises are squat jumps and push-ups. So that's going to be intense. 45 straight seconds of squat jumps, 45 straight seconds of push-ups. Remember for the push-ups, keeping our elbows in right by our sides and not letting them fan out at all while you're doing this, okay? And our squat jumps, we know the importance of our knee positioning. I talk about that pretty much every class. Every time that we do anything squat based in the warm-up, I'm talking about that. So making sure that your knees are going straight over your feet, and if you're struggling with that, narrowing your stance, okay? All right. Whew. Now it's time to play the game, is that water on the floor or sweat? And I really don't know. It could be, I guess technically it's both, because there's plenty of water in sweat. But what its primary makeup is, I am unsure. But speaking of water, grab your last sip, head back over to your mat. That is our stop sound, not our start sound. So we have some relaxation. We have an extra 5 seconds of a rest interval. Knock, knock, knock. So get your feet prepped about shoulder width, and we're off, okay? So nice big jumps, and again, making sure that your knees are able to go straight over your feet. And if they aren't, narrow that stance and keep jumping and practice there until you feel confident enough to try and bring them out apart a little bit farther, okay? But if they're coming in towards each other like that, then you want to make sure that you are narrowing your stance to keep them safe. Holy crow. This 45 seconds is a big difference. And yesterday's class was also very quad heavy. So, woo-wee. I'm gonna push that out of the way. The reason I pushed my upper mats out of the way is the puzzle piece mat can sometimes cause issues for my wrist health. Because it's thick and very flexible, it will cause me to hyperextend my wrist when I push down for anything on the hands. And that can occasionally cause wrist twinges and can lead to more serious, more problematic things. So if you ever see me, pushing the mats out of the way, that is just one of the modifications that I have so that I can protect my wrists. Other ways that you can modify, if you're also having wrist issues, you can do the exercises on your fist like that so that you're able to keep your wrist nice and straight. Or if you have dumbbells in the house, you can set those up and just grasp them by the handles. And again, that helps you to keep your wrists nice and straight. So, lots of options, my friends. But yeah, check in with yourself on stuff like that. I try to give as many modifications as I can think of, but it's really important if you have any sort of an injury history, or if you have been feeling something and you don't want to aggravate it, maybe you haven't actively injured your knee, but you've been feeling twinges and you don't want that to get any worse, or same thing with wrists or anything else, throw a question in the chat and I will try and give you either an appropriate modification to the current exercise or an appropriate supplement, like other exercise to do, or just tell you to take it easy. You know, many options, many options, but don't ever be afraid to ask those questions or to make those modifications, because again, we are doing our best to protect ourselves from injuries. We're never going to be 100% successful at that, because it's simply not possible. If it was, professional athletes and dancers would never get injured, which we all know is not the case. But the more that we can do to prevent injury, the better off we will be. So just always pay attention to that stuff. Pay attention to your own personal history, and just remember that if you're really feeling something, you can step back, take a second, reset, shake it out, try again, and if you're still feeling it, then just back away, okay? Do not push yourself through unhealthy pain just because you feel like you're supposed to, all right? That is never the way for us to go. And I will try and remind you of that every single class, because there are too many instructors out there who teach us to fight through the pain, no gain, muscle through the pain, and they don't differentiate between pain that is a symbol that you are doing a really awesome job, like sore muscles the next day. You can feel that. You're like, oh man, this feels really awesome because I can tell that I did a really good job, and that's why I'm feeling sore today. There is a difference between that pain and the pain that's like, oh, this feels bad. This feels uncomfortable, and it feels like I might injure myself. We can absolutely differentiate between those two types of pain. The trouble is, we are frequently trained to do the opposite. We are trained that we should ignore all pain signals coming from the body. And that is terrible advice. It is, honestly, look, I'm just gonna say it. It's a dereliction of duty from any coach, any fitness instructor who tries to tell you to just muscle through. They should not be employed, you know, because their goal should be, and my goal is, to help inspire you, to teach you, to train you, to challenge you, but also to teach you how to listen to the signals of your body, to keep you healthy while you're doing all of this. And a big part of that is learning to listen to our body, listen to what it's trying to tell us, and act accordingly. So the more in the habit you can get of paying attention to those signals and learning when to say, all right, I need to do something different, I need to modify this exercise, or I need to just sit back for a second, the better off you will be. The better, stronger, and fitter you will be over the long term. Because, you know, a lot of times we push through. No, Siri, I'm not talking to you. A lot of times we push through. Good job, everybody. We push through because we're like, oh, well, I don't want to, you know, interrupt my training schedule. It's the same reason that we don't take appropriate rest times, rest days, rest weeks. And so we push through. The irony being, we make it more likely that we're going to injure ourselves. And you know what really puts a damper on your fitness training? Injuries, okay? So if you take nothing else away from my classes, please, please, please work on learning how to listen to your body. Listen to its pain signals, its fatigue signals. Listen to when it's, just being kind of lazy and you can push harder, because your body tells you that too. Your body and your brain together. We are a whole unit. And trying to separate the one from the other is never a good idea. And yeah, you will just be so much happier and healthier in this class and, everywhere else, if you are able to really dig in and learn what signals your body is trying to send you. All right, I need some water. Woo-wee. Okay. Woo! Well, my friends, we are going to finish out class with one last set. And it's going to be our shrimps and skips set. So we're going to have 30 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest. We're going back down to that. Depending on when that timer finishes, I might have us round out with a cardio tabata, but if not, then this will be the final thing we do. So you're just going to have to be surprised as to what we end up doing. All right? So don't ever let it be said that I can't surprise you. All right, so everybody back to your mats. Skips and shrimps is what we're doing. So back on your mat, get yourself prepped, get yourself pumped. That's the stop sound. Don't start yet. If you think I talk about that, or if you think I remind you of that too often, just know that I have had, class regulars who've been taking this class for 3 years at least, who still mess that up sometimes. They hear that first horn and they go, oh, cool, a sound. That must mean that I'm supposed to go. And then you're like, oh, damn it, I missed out on that rest time and added on to the work that I'm doing. So I will always try and remind you of where we actually are. All right, shrimps, let's go for speed today. How many times can you make it up and down your mat? Okay, I want you to try and count it out and see if by the fourth run through, you can make it an extra lap or even an extra half lap, okay? So see what you can do there. Woo-wee. Yeah, it's intense. It is definitely intense. All right, much better. So getting prepped for round 2 of skips. Here we are. And remember, we're not trying to move around on the mat. We're just doing these tiny hops while lifting the other knee up in the air. Opposite arm as lifted knee comes up. It is a hop though. I'm not just pushing myself up on to the ball of my foot. I am actually leaving the floor, albeit briefly. So make sure that you're not just relevating and then coming down. You want to actually be jumping and then coming back to our shrimps. Whew. Remember, if you've been struggling with shrimps, then you can absolutely start by just doing small boat rocks like this and just visualizing that every time your shoulders come up off the ground, they move, and every time your hips come off of the ground, they move, okay? So if you need to do that, you absolutely can. It's a better use of your time than just turning in a mad circle. And the visualization really does help you to figure out where to put your body, okay? Because as we've talked about, a lot of the work of exercise really is neurological. It's your brain setting down pathways to remember how to perform these exercises as part of your muscle memory, not as part of your conscious processing. So you absolutely gain a lot of benefit by doing something similar to the exercise, like those small boat rocks, and then just visualizing what the changes will be, so that when you start back up, your brain already has the beginnings of the roadmap, and it's easier to fill in the detail, okay? So just always remember that you can absolutely do that, and that it can be a huge, huge help. All right, my friends, here we are, our final sets of both skips and shrimps, starting with our skips. So this is a chill exercise, but for this last one, I want you to go a little bit more speed, a little bit more air on the hop, okay? Make sure that when you're landing, you're not landing on a straight leg, all right? That's gonna jam your knee and potentially cause an injury, all right? So as you land, make sure there is a little bit of bend in that knee to cushion it. And that's where the thick mat comes in handy too. All right, last time for our shrimps. Remember, we're trying for speed. We're trying to see if we can get an extra lap in, or even an extra half a lap in, because this is the amount of time that we took for this last week. So we know that this will be correlated pretty strongly. All right, good job, everybody. Oh man, wow, that was an excellent class. Let's do a little stretching, my friends. Let's get on our mats and we're gonna cool down a little bit with a little bit of stretching. So take a nice even stance. My feet are about hip width apart on the mat. Just stand straight up and down and just take some deep breaths. All right, we're trying to bring our breathing back under control, bring our heart rate back under control. So just stand. If you're feeling tension in your shoulders, shrug them all the way up to your ears and then let them fall. Do that a couple of times and try and maintain that relaxation from where they fall, okay? All right, now we're gonna drop chin to chest and then look up towards the ceiling, not all the way above our heads. We don't want to crunch the top of our neck. So you want your chin at a diagonal and you're looking diagonally forward and up. So it's the difference between this. See, my chin is tilted upwards. I am looking up, but I'm not crunching my neck like that, okay? So down and up and down and up, and just go back and forth between those two positions. And come back to center. Now look over your right shoulder, then left, then right, then left, and again, going back and forth. All right, back to center. Let one ear come down towards the shoulder, so I'm still looking straight forward. My head's falling to the side. I'm going to take that same arm, place the hand on the side of my head. I'm not pulling. I'm not pulling my head down. I'm just letting the weight of my hand and arm add enough pressure that I'm intensifying the stretch along my scalene, okay? All right. Up and other side. Again, we're not pulling down on the head. We are just letting gravity add a little additional force. All right. And now we're going to drop our chin to our chest. And then on an 8 count, we're going to roll down one vertebra at a time until we're folded over at the hips and our hands are on the floor or as close to it as they can get, okay? So chin to chest, on an 8 count, ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, shake your head out a little bit just to make sure you're not clenching your neck. You can sway your back side to side a little bit. Your knees, again, we don't want them locked like this. You want just a little bit of a bend. So my legs are still pretty much straight, but there's a little bit of a bend in my knees. So I could actually still push them backwards like that, but I wouldn't because it's bad for them. All right, again on an 8 count, 4 counts to squat your knees all the way down, 4 counts to lift back to this position. Ready? Here we go. And 1, 2, 3, 4, and up, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and up, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And now, hands on the opposite elbows. Shake those heads out again just to make sure you're not clenching your neck. We've let gravity take control of our torso, intensifying the stretch in our hamstrings. Sway your back side to side, gently. Let those hands fall back to the floor. Then bend those knees, and we're going to roll back up one vertebra at a time. On an 8 count, when you get to the top, just stand. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Stand there. Don't adjust your clothes. Don't adjust your hair. Don't adjust your positioning. Take nice, deep breaths. Feel your blood going out through all of your limbs again. Feel the length in your spine. Feel your heart rate nice and calm. And then shake out your hands, shake out your feet, and pat yourself on the back because you are done. Oh, man. Ugh. Wow. Good job, everybody. Oh, man. Good class. Good class. Man, I can tell they're good classes because I'm sweating like crazy every single time. Make sure you're drinking plenty of your water. I have not been going through my water vessels nearly quickly enough in class. So I am counting on you. If you haven't finished your water yet, finish it, then go refill it and drink some more, okay? All right. Oh my goodness, you've made it through week 3 of Rocktober for Jump Around. That is not an easy thing, my friends, and I applaud you, okay? What a great job you've done. This was super intense. That extra 15 seconds really has an impact. It doesn't sound that long when we're just hearing it. And I feel like the jump from 20 seconds to 30 seconds is not as intense as the jump from 30 seconds to 45 seconds. It feels like a whole different animal. So I definitely had some sets where I was really struggling to keep myself going. I'm sure you did too. So pat yourself on the back again, because man, this class has been intense, and next week is going to be our most intense yet. And I cannot wait for you to come in and do class and just be able to feel how different it feels to do class at the end of this. I'm actually kind of thinking that for our week right after this finishes, I'm thinking that we might do these classes one more time in the structure that they were that first week, so you can really feel how different it is, how much easier it feels. So you can have that comparison point between week 1 and I guess that would be 5 technically. Yeah, I know that I can feel definite difference right now, and I hope that you can too. And I'm really glad that you've been sticking with me through these weeks. This has been so much fun. I can't wait for next week. Oh my goodness. Yeah, all right. Well, we have 2 more classes on the docket for this week. Friday at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, we have Functional Home Fitness, where we do weight training using objects you can find around the house. It will also hopefully be the triumphant debut of my new softbox lights. So, if you're a lighting nerd, come to class just to be excited with me that I have better lighting finally. And then Saturday morning at 9 a.m. is Weekend Kickoff, which is our awesome strength and stamina focused bodyweight class. And that will round out week 3 of Rocktober. I cannot believe that we're almost to week 4. Holy crow. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. All of those handles will be in my end cards, but they are all some variation on Blanche Case Fitness. My YouTube channel, Blanche Case Fitness, is where the magic happens. It's where the VODs from all of these streams get uploaded so that you never have to miss a class. And if I'm, on a vacation or on a rest week, you can still have plenty of content to choose from. If you want to help support me financially in making these streams, I do have a coffee account. Donations are always appreciated. And if you want to help keep growing this channel, then please follow. Tell your friends, coworkers, loved ones, frenemies, anybody who's looking for a good bodyweight class and a lot of fun here on Twitch. If you live in the United States, and I'm only specifying that because I am most familiar with our election process, vote, vote, vote. If you live in Colorado, you should have received your ballots in the mail by now. And the thing I love about Colorado is how easy it makes it to vote here. Even before COVID times, the mail-in ballot process was incredibly robust. I have been far more active in the democratic process here in the state of Colorado than I have in any other place that I have lived in while I was of voting age. And a lot of that has to do with how easy Colorado makes it. If you're not yet registered in Colorado, good news, you can register in person same day. I believe online registration is still active until the 26th, so we have a few more days to get that done. But if you miss that deadline, you can show up at a polling place and register same day. I believe I just had to bring my birth certificate to show that I was a citizen of the United States, and I was able to register on the same day. Obviously, COVID precautions make it better if you're able to vote by mail or drop your mail-in ballot in one of the boxes around the county. But please, please, please make a voting plan, execute it. It is always important. And then once voting is done, don't get complacent, because we still have so much work to do, my friends. And there is one thing that we cannot do, and it is sink back into complacency and, oh, cool, my guy won, so I don't have to do anything. No, we are past those times. It is time for every single one of us to stand up, to work for the country that we want to live in. And personally, for myself, I want to live in a country that is actively in the progress of dismantling white supremacy and dismantling racist and patriarchal structures, dismantling homophobia and transphobia, and actually holding to these lofty ideals that we have for ourselves that we have never measured up to. It's time for us all to get off the bench and start working towards that country that actually does live up to those ideals. And it's going to be a long road no matter what happens in the next couple of weeks. But please vote. Please make sure you know what the regulations are. Will in chat is talking about some of the specifics in Georgia, which is a whole hotbed of voter suppression. So please make sure that you know exactly what you need to do in order to vote in this election. It's so important. And then once you've voted, don't think the work ends there, because it's just the beginning of a long road. And I hope you will join me on it, because it's important for all of us to be really putting ourselves out there and doing as much as we can. So anyway, that's my voting spiel. And I am so glad that you've been joining me on our Rocktober tour. I hope that you come back for next week. And oh, that's terrifying. I always skip past that song because it always drives me nuts. So thankfully, I don't know that Enterprise theme song. All right, my loves, it's time for you to shower. It's time for you to get a hearty dinner in you and to enjoy the rest of your evening and whatever it entails. And I will hopefully see some of you back here on Friday. Mwah. Have a great night.